Okay, well, just give it a second and setting up your, oh, come on. Okay, see, my screen over here says it's still connecting, and then we're going to LinkedIn. I'm never 100% sure with technology, and this is why it's very cool to have Ken today. Oh, there we go. Ken here today that's going to be talking about cybersecurity. So for everybody out there on LinkedIn and YouTube, welcome to our first call of 2023. Happy New Year to everyone. As we were having a prelude to this call, I hope everybody got to spend some time with friends and family, wanted or not. Or if you didn't, yeah, to just add that. Anyways, it's a great time coming into January. I always find we've had some time to reflect, hang with people maybe we don't see all the time, and then get ready to start a new year. And I know that everybody says, well, you know, everything doesn't start just January 1st. And I see a lot of people posting, but here's the thing. We all have our own start dates, and many of us do use January 1st as a start date. I personally know myself for the month before, I do a lot of reflecting, sitting down, go, what's working, what's not, what do I have to change, what do I have to get rid of? Because so often we get in that trap of just doing things over and over again, and then it never seem to move anywhere. So, you know, this is a really good time to just sit back and go, okay, where are we headed? So this call today, I'm excited because, as mentioned, Ken Rourke-Frew will be sharing some tips and tricks with cybersecurity. But first, what we're going to do is we're going to go around the room and have everybody do some quick introductions. I encourage you afterwards, this still is going on LinkedIn. You can go and add your comments and notes there as you wish, and share your information in the chat so we can connect, because this is also about any call that you go on. It is networking. So it doesn't matter if you're at the kitchen table breaking bread or on a Zoom call. It's important to come in, and I think I'm just going to keep talking to people this year and saying, come in with your personality. Let's make these fun. I was told several times that a Zoom call cannot be like in person. Well, we had a couple where people were going afterwards going, you know, that was really good. That was invigorating. But here's the trick. It's up to us. It's really not up to just the host. Yeah, I'm doing my best. But it's up to each of us to show up, you know, have that smile, be engaged, have some fun, and participate. So if you're not used to doing that and you're just ready to take that to the second level this year, that's what I'm going to encourage. Come in, say things that maybe are uncomfortable. Sometimes do you realize there's still a lot of people that haven't come online? So if you're one of the ones that are looking in at this call and going, oh, I still haven't ventured into a call, it's okay, come in, we'll welcome you. We take you by the hand and guide you. And then this is how we're going to engage some great conversation. So let's go around. Mayank, tell us a little bit about you.
Oh, you don't want to know. My name is Mayank. I'm from Ottawa, Canada. That kind of sounded cool, isn't it? I'm from Ottawa, Canada, and I'm going home in 7 days. And I'm a health coach. I like to help people. Sometimes I like to roast people. Sometimes I like to put them on ice once in a while. And I'm a podcaster. I like to make people fall in love with loving themselves, loving fitness, loving health and well-being. And I take too much pride doing it. I like to hit all my goals. I don't like losing. I don't like weakness. I don't like thinking. This and that and this and that. And we start on the first. So
you are a doer.
I'm a killer.
There you go.
And I don't like to start on the first and end it on the second. I like to continue. So
okay,
I never go back to square one. I don't care. My new year started on the 28th of December. So what? 28 to 28.
Perfect. Okay, well, thanks, Mayank, for joining us today. And how about Bernie?
Bernie Fransford, Creative Insight Consultants. I do B2B connections, actually people connections. And what does that mean? It ranges from getting to know different business people and finding out where they could be an asset for somebody else and conversely back to them. And I got a podcast called Knack for Business, and it talks about the business universe and, you know, things learned and things to share, experiences, etc. Thank you, Margaret.
Perfect. Thanks a lot, Bernie. And Tanya.
Hi, everyone. My name is Tanya Hewitt from Beyond Safety Compliance. And this might be a timely call because I just tentatively, well, not so tentative because it's done now, downloaded updates for Windows, which is always this scary thing because God knows what's going to happen after this. So maybe we'll see what happens after this. Thanks, everyone.
I love that. So that might be the perfect call for you. Okay, and then I'll just do a quick introduction and introduce our guests. So I'm Margaret Ann. I am your host for ConnectsYou Keynote, and I'm really excited to get started as I have the pleasure of introducing Ken today, our ConnectsYou Keynote speaker. He's from Vumetric Cybersecurity, and today we're going to learn about understanding cybersecurity in a changing world. Ken is a persuasive business development professional who is successful at establishing and maintaining key partnerships with corporate decision makers. He's a dedicated employee with over 25 years in sales and marketing. Areas of expertise include development and brand management, and he currently holds 13 technical IT sales certificates. So please join me by putting your hands together and welcoming Ken Rourke-Frew.
Hi, everyone. Thank you very much. Happy New Year to everybody. Thank you for joining us today. So yeah, thank you, Margaret Ann. The short answer of my description is I'm an account manager. So it really is, you know, long words. At the end of the day, I'm an account manager for Vumetric Cybersecurity. I'm going to jump right into our topics today. And the reason I want to do that is I want us to get a general idea of how Vumetric works, but how cybersecurity works as a general aspect of everything. And I'm going to put this into very simple terms, easy to understand, and we'll go from there. I encourage you to ask questions, either via chat or live. I'll leave some extra time at the end. So Vumetric basically concentrates on penetration testing. Penetration testing is actually, we're ethical hackers trying to break your network or your application or something that you work on every day. Now, the whole idea is, you know, we're testing across the country of Canada, United States, and even Europe right now. We do network penetration testing, application, whether it be web or mobile. We do devices. We do medical devices. We do everything to make sure that your product is being secure. Now, picture a house. Your network is your house. It has a foundation. It could have 1, 2, 3 floors. It has doors. It has windows. What we try to do is try to access getting into the doors and windows of your network. We call this an external pen test or external penetration test. The doors and windows are IP addresses, and that's what we try to access. Now, we'll check every door, every window, depending on how your house is built. It could be an apartment building where there are many access points, or it could be a single dwelling home with only 2 access points. Doesn't matter. It depends on how we can get in. Once we get in, we'll let you know how we got in and how to fix that. Put a lock on the door, change your security system, something in that nature that will be able to help you fix anything that a real hacker would expose. That's an external test. An internal test is once we're inside the home. Now, an internal test depends, it could be somebody in your home already, and a malicious employee that wants to exploit company information or any of that sort of topic. So imagine we penetrate the house, we're in the house, we do now an internal test. Internal test depends on how many rooms you have in your house. Plain and simple. We check every room. We're looking for safes. Can we crack a safe? Can we access different rooms? Can we escalate the different privileges throughout the home itself or the apartment building? How many levels do we go up? How will we expose all this? So that's an internal test. Those are the two primary tests that people need to do in order to be compliant, whether it be for personal information or whether it be for mission critical information for your business. We want to make sure all that is safe and secure. We also do web applications and mobile applications. And mobile and web applications are pretty straightforward. We're looking at how the application is built and how it's exposed on the internet. We want to see if there's different user roles. We want to see if we can escalate or move laterally across an attack surface. Now, those are general tests. And I want to explain something a little bit more in detail about how ViewMetric works in this particular case. Now, we are Canadian based. However, we are working across the world. There are two types of testing, and most people get confused on these. You have something called a penetration test, which I just described. We also have something called a vulnerability scan. Now, a vulnerability scan will do an automated AI version of a penetration test. It'll scan all the product that's available. It will check all the lines of code. It will check different aspects. However, a vulnerability test will give you a great report, but not actionable. This is where the penetration test comes in. Now, 80% of our testing is done with a manual human aspect. And the reason that is that AI just can't simply recreate a situation that will, how could I put this? Expose certain vulnerabilities. So you need that live aspect. You need that human aspect. You need that real person. That's why penetration testing is much more in demand in 2023. People require it for cyber insurance, compliances. We're going to see more and more cyber insurance being involved with companies, whether they be big or small. It doesn't make a difference. I do want to mention that, we have over 20 pen testers on staff right now here in Canada. And when we are doing application testing or, network penetration testing, we have specific people that are great. We have certain people that are trained in that field. So if you have a website and it's built on Python or WordPress or, some other technology stack, well, we'll expose that and be able to use a former developer that now is pen testing, that's certified. So that person will come in and work on your project. I see the questions coming in, and I will definitely get to them. I just want to get to just our overview first. So that's the human aspect of a lot of the testing, which is really important. However, there is one key thing in cybersecurity that is really killing businesses right now, and that is those emails, those exposed emails that will try their hardest to expose or try to obtain certain information, whether it be a password, whether it be your privileges, whether it be a how can I put this? An exposure to the network. Now, I'm going to give you an example. Most people think that you got to watch those emails. Yes, we all know about that. We know that you got to look at see who it's from, and sometimes there's a code, or there's a misspelling of a name, and then there's a link or some other privilege trying to be exposed. Yes, Tanya mentioned that texts are going this way. SMS has a real problem right now as well. The exposure with, yeah, you're absolutely right. The exposure to the internet is really where it's going. And it's not just email. Like Tanya said in the chat, it's texts. I'm going to give you another scenario. Happened to a customer of mine. Customer gets a phone call and says, "Hey, this is Jack from your cybersecurity MSP, managed service provider. I need to check just what your programs are. Can you just go to the start menu, open up applications, and just read to me what you have there?" Okay, yeah, no problem. I'll open up. Okay, I got Adobe. I got this. I got Excel. I got, all my things, and I have my McAfee Defender set up as well. Oh, you do have McAfee. Excellent. What version is it? 10.3.2. Perfect. That's all I needed to know. Thank you very much for your time. He just opened up the exposure of which virus protection that they had so they can bypass it. These are real life scenarios that are happening all the time. We have another scenario where you click on a link and a login page opens up. It looks exactly like Google. Exactly like Google. And you enter in your password, your email and password, as you normally would with any sign up, right? Well, that's where they catch you. And it only takes one person in the organization to expose everybody else. And you get malware. We've heard about ransomware. I don't think I need to go into more details about ransomware. However, it is the one that's killing the industry right now. It's not just, we see an increase in healthcare. We see an increase obviously in software tech, but we're also seeing it in financial institutions. We see it a lot in government. All these exposures are something that you will eventually, read about or read about it, and it's the exposure. It's really unfortunate. One of the things that we try to do is we perform a phishing test. And part of the cybersecurity is creating an email to find out which employees need the training, that are opening up those emails and saying, okay, here's my information. We tested a government organization for a phishing test. Now, out of the 1,000 employees, as an example, if 5% click the link, that's not too bad. That's not too bad. It's still exposure, but it's not too bad. 15%, we have an issue. This government organization tested, ranked in at 40%. 40%. And we actually had one guy come back to us and said, yeah, but where's my free iPad? I hate to tell you this, but you know, it's not real. But that's what happens. That's the exposure. It's really, really incredible the amount of you know, attacks that are happening via email. Another example is an interception of an email. And once that, you know, that bot that the attacker is trying to infiltrate will take an email and say, okay, by the way, invoice 123 ABC hasn't been paid. Please use our new financial information to make the transfer. We see it more and more often. The attackers are getting more sophisticated, and they're using tools that are new, and they're constantly evolving. So we have to evolve with them. And if we don't, it's not a matter of, you know, how big your organization is or how small it is. There will be an attack in 2023 on your organization. Whether you click that spam, that phishing email or not, you're being attacked. And prior to our meeting, we were just talking about how many spam emails we get a day now, whether it be on a personal email or on a business email. The more and more exposure that we have, the more and more it's going to be available to a malicious attacker. So that's important to know. Keep your emails in check. Make sure they're coming from the right person. And please don't click that link. Don't click. A virus can be attached to a PDF. It could be attached to a video. If there's one question, you know, just double check. So just double check everything that comes in your way. Let's say you've been attacked. You come to us and say, Ken, I think my website was attacked. Now, what ViewMetric does is expose your vulnerabilities. We don't do forensics on ransomware or, you know, attack on a website or something of the such. However, we will find evidence and exploit that vulnerability again so you can correct it. And this is where I want to get in to mention that what ViewMetric does is once a test is completed, we sit down with you and go over the report. We will give you the proof of concept. We will give you what the vulnerability is, how we got there, obviously, and how to correct that step. Close port, protect, upgrade firewall to this new firmware. So we're constantly, our guys are constantly up to date, and we use all the general not even the general, all the certificates, and you can see that on viewmetric.com of what we're, all the procedures that we do and our certifications. I do want to mention that every employee of Viewmetric goes through a criminal background check. We all get vetted very, very diligently to make sure that all our employees remain in that ethical hacking frame, generally speaking. I'm going to answer some of the questions, and then I'm going to go into a little bit about the government. Let me just go through. IoT devices, smartphones, and smart devices, can they be properly secured? Yes. There are the best way to secure an IoT device, a smartphone or a computer or anything else, hands down, the best way to do it is through a VPN, even on your phone. That's the best way. There are programs out there that are available for free and for, to make sure that, IoT devices and smartphones and everything else have the latest encryptions. For example, iOS, SMS messaging on iOS has to be turned on for the encryption. If not, you're able to receive unencrypted email, texts, and emails. By having a VPN, you're not exposing your IP address to anybody out there. So any messages being sent will be encrypted, but there are softwares out there that you can add a different layer of security if you really need it. How secure is cloud computing? Brilliant question. And right now, cloud computing is probably more secure than on-premise security. And the reason is that more and more Fortune 500 companies, Fortune 1000 companies are moving to this digital cloud computing. There is a general rule of thumb with your information from your company, and it's called the 1, 2, 3. And this is about your backup. Now, just completely off topic of cybersecurity, it's important to have that 1, 2, 3, meaning, or 3, 2, 1, if you wish, 3 backups. The second one is on site. Third one is off site, usually in the cloud. And the reason why you want to have 3 backups is that if one fails, you have that second backup. And if the second backup fails, you have a third that's off-site, encrypted in the cloud, and generally speaking, you're safe. So the 3, 2, 1 rule is really important. The 3 big guys, meaning Azure, Google Cloud, GCP, and AWS, Amazon Web Service. Those are the 3 big guys, and they have the most security set for cloud computing. If you are hosting a website or some other stuff on the cloud, the only thing that you really need to be concerned about is the way the cloud is made is there's different tenants in the cloud. You want to make sure that all those tenants are safe as well. So that you ask your cloud service provider to make sure that everything else is going to be okay. All right, that's it for the questions. But yeah, your comments are fantastic. Toronto Sick Kids, they were attacked, and yes, the attacker did apologize, which was kind of cool. I read about that. ViewMetric, we use a service called Know Before, KNOW B, the number 4. Know Before is I guess a educational system that has different sessions, and you learn via these sessions how to spot malicious attacking. That's what we use. And that's where we get the most of our education. We have, here at ViewMetric, we constantly checking things. We get phished once a month as well, to make sure that we're staying on top of things. So if you click on a bad message, what do you immediately do next? Well, that's a difficult question. Once it's clicked, it's difficult to unclick. First and foremost, if you click on a bad message, almost immediately, if it's a ransomware or malware or something, the attacker will take over pretty much right away. You'll get a blank screen. The other option is if you click and they ask for login information, that's you shut down right away, delete the message. There are security measures via Outlook, downloading images, having an external tag, all those things. But if you do get that message and you clicked on it, pray, I think, is a better way. Make sure that you get in touch with a cybersecurity specialist, contact your MSP, managed service provider, your IT company, any of those things, to make sure that it doesn't infiltrate everything. It'll take a while for it to get places. But if you have that what do you call it? General, if you're worried about it, contact somebody else and make sure that you get through it. The biggest question I get is, Ken, how much is this going to cost? And, a lot of people, there's, a vulnerability scan can be $1,000 to $2,000. A penetration test at the base level usually runs in around $5,000 to $7,000. One of the things that I do want to mention is that, and this is for everybody out there in Canada, the Canadian government is actually doing a digital adoption program. The Canadian Digital Adoption Program, or CDAP, is government funding for cybersecurity. So it's a real simple process. Email me after and I'll get you the information. But basically, you fill out a questionnaire online. Within 48 hours, you should get approved. We do the testing. We provide you the report. The report, along with our invoice, is sent to the Canadian government, and you get the money before you end up paying for the services that we provided. So it's a win-win for everybody. It's a very straightforward program. They had $4 million in the bank before the holidays. I don't know where it's at now. They don't give us that information, unfortunately, but it provides up to $15,000 of a cybersecurity project, or 90% of the total cost. So we're seeing people that will go in and do a penetration test, but they'll also do what we call a cybersecurity audit on their organization. And that is a list of questions and answers that our team sit down with you with and go over everything. The whole object of the audit is pretty straightforward. All it does is to provide you with quick wins and a global security overview or landscape of your business and where to focus in the next year or 2 years, where you need to be in order to be secure. So, free money from the government to do a project, and it ends up being well worth it. Doesn't matter how small or big you are. It does have a couple of criteria. One, you have to be a Canadian company and not for profit. So nonprofits or charities don't apply. You have to be under 500 employees, 499 and less. And the third criteria is that you've had to have revenue of $500,000 in one of the 3 previous years. That one is the key. So even if it's not last year, but one of the 3 years previously, that's the third criteria. If you follow those 3, everybody seems to be approved that I've guided through this process. So, yeah, I'm more than happy to discuss that after. But the government is helping us out. So one might as well take advantage of it. That's what I have. I'm coming up on the end. Do we have any other questions? Okay.
Ken?
Yeah, Bernie.
Just a couple of quick ones. If
Yeah.
you figure if you're getting attacked through your IoT devices, either someone is doing a drive-by, hacking your Wi-Fi platform. I mean, there's the phishing emails. There's other platforms that can target your smartphones. You're walking around. Even having a VPN on your phone in that instance makes sense.
Absolutely.
Does that only protect you partway, but not completely? Because if they somehow manage to insert something onto your phone or onto your IoT device, that could be a contamination source. I'm thinking more like a viral, right?
Yeah.
Once you taint one water, you taint all water.
There's 2 things that we recommend for a smartphone, and one is the VPN, blocking all outgoing information that you're surfing, whether it be Facebook, whether it be LinkedIn, whether it be it will be a lot more protected on that level. Will it protect you from getting phishing? No. Will it protect you from somebody, as you mentioned, drive-by trying to get your Wi-Fi? No. The number one thing that we suggest is password protection. Multi-factor, an 18-letter character number, random password. We use password 1 within our organization to protect. And let me tell you, I'm incredibly paranoid now of all social media, which is why I don't go on it so much anymore. But I changed all my passwords to everything. And that's the key right there, is if they're trying to, as you say, drive by and try to attack, if you have that 18 to 26 number, letter, character, it'll take them years to break it. Years. So yeah, increase from 8 to as many as you can, and hopefully using a password generator can help with that as well. All right.
Are
Anyone
there
else?
are there any other websites that are, I mean, you have the false ones like the false Google, right? That you were talking
Yep.
about earlier.
Yeah.
But are there any websites that, geez, you know, you shouldn't go there? And some are the typical ones, you know, people's vices, right?
Yeah.
But but is there a way of figuring that out before you get there? And I'm not talking about the vices part. I'm talking about, you know, other sites you're going, oh, that looks good.
You know what? Anything that has a in the title HTTP and not HTTPS, I would question.
Okay.
So you know, if you're going on Zoom, if you double click in your ribbon, you'll see HTTPS. If you click on a, pardon me?
Usually means secure.
Exactly. That's exactly.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean it just a P isn't going to be.
No, but if
you know what S is.
Right. Any I get a lot of shipping emails. You know, your tracking number is such and such, and you open up, you know, the email, and it's like, okay, you need to log in. Bingo, right there. And I always double check the address, and 9 out of 10 times it doesn't have that S.
Yeah. You know what, Ken, and I think that's it. It's like getting out there, educating people about being more proactive. Like, you know, I was saying about the number of emails I get, but I can't tell you how many I don't even go into, because I do a quick search of A, who sent it, B, if they've said, oh, now this is the problem though with online. And I guess if you've got a very large, you know, you got packages coming to your door at a time, you're just automatically going, oh, package, click. See, like, so it's easy to do it even by mistake, because you're going, well, I'm waiting on a package. It says Amazon, so that must be it. And that's the thing. It's a business. I think that's what it is a business for these scam artists to do this. They are smart. They're very clever. They have the best working on these things to make you click. So
absolutely. And as mentioned before, they're always evolving. They're always changing, and they're always finding new ways to you know, to be
I
able.
just think it's amusing. I like to have those chats. Sometimes I will go through and go, like, okay, like really, people are clicking on this, but you know what? It reminds me of a lot of people with those dating apps. And I think there's nothing wrong with the dating app. But I think if anything sounds too good to be true, then it is. Then do your research before you click.
Yeah.
There is no free trip. There is no.
No. I got a phishing email once directly at work, and it said that I needed to back up my emails. They were doing maintenance. I needed to back up my emails. Please click here. But I found it very odd that it said your backups will go back to 2017. And I wasn't working at Viewmetric in 2017, so it didn't have anything to do with me. So I didn't back up, because I also know that Microsoft Cloud or Office 365 automatically backs up and encrypts my emails. So why do I need to back it up again? So you got to be on your toes a little bit. You got to be able to navigate through some of the for lack of the better
somebody
word.
needs to create the guidebook, or maybe there's one out there. You know, the guidebook for dummies when it comes to phishing.
Oh,
we're not talking about in the water, because you know, I just know, because, like, you know, I deal with business people. Get more education with this, right? We're on here, we're doing this. They've got employees. They're looking at things for security. Where the normal person, which is still, like, you know, this can apply to the same basics, right? Is like, no, like, don't do this. I remember one day when my mom was, I had two of them con her, like, I was doing one for my niece and one for my mother, reversing credit cards because they picked up the phone and it's not really any different, right? And both
Yeah.
got conned on the same day. And I'm going, oh my God. So thank goodness for MasterCard and reverse charges and all this stuff. I don't know what, like, so the helpline is called Boometrics. Get in
Yeah.
touch. Find a friend. You need to create a friendship with someone like Ken Rourke-Frew who will guide you through this so it's not quite as scary.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. You know what? It's gotten to the point and it's really sad to say, is it's not if, it's when. And penetration testing, unfortunately, is going to have to be built into a budget. And it's going to have to, it's going to be important moving forward in not only in 2023, but for the rest, from now on. Your insurance company is going to ask for it. Your customers are going to ask for it. They want you to know that you are secure. And the best way to do that is with a penetration test.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, Ken, I want to
Yeah.
thank you so much. It's been a delight to have you here today.
Thank you.
We've still got a few minutes. Does anybody else have a last question before I round up the meeting? No? Okay. Yeah, no, I've taken 3 pages of notes. So
Oh, wow. Excellent.
Probably that's right. Bernie had to leave. So
Yeah.
as we wrap this up, I'm just going to mention tomorrow with ConnectsYou, we have an event called Kickstart 2023. And really, I designed that about 8 years ago and decided to revive it again this year to get people kick-started for 2023, because a lot of times we're coming back after holidays and friends and family, and it's just hard to get your head in the game. So there's nothing quite like hanging with a few business people and talking about real live issues and getting started. So for anybody out there, we're going to be talking about setting one SMART goal, and we're going to have you create one and put it in the time vault for 2024. We're going to talk about getting organized with your books with Liz M. Raymond, Muddy Raymond, and she's going to get us organized and on top of our game for 2023. And we're also having Maria Medina talk about Unified Knowledge Center and how a course is not a course, how to create an extra income stream creating courses. Hey, Ken, maybe you should create some courses for the cybersecurity to start walk people through.
Yeah, really.
So if you want to join, meet some great people and have some fun kickback, I invite you to. I've just put the link. We've decided to offer this event free, compliments of ConnectsYou and Liz M. Raymond and Unified Knowledge Center. So anybody that would like to join us, I have no idea who's showing up, but here's what matters. Whoever does, you matter. And we'll kickstart 2023 together. So Ken, thanks again for doing this. It is on our Connect Ottawa page. So if you're on LinkedIn, you can actually go to Connect Ottawa and you'll actually see the live stream, and we'll actually take the recording and put it up as well. So I really appreciate you taking the time and educating us and our audience out there about cybersecurity.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me. And once again, 2023 is the year of security, and hopefully we'll be able to chat a little bit more.
Perfect. Okay, I'll stop the recording and